Hi friends, a very good evening to all of you, and I am right here at sharp 5 o'clock. It's going to be a very interesting conversation today, and today luxury meets environmentalist, entrepreneur, President Karma Lakelands, Mr. Ashwani Khurana. So let's all welcome Mr. Ashwani Khurana.
Namaskar. Okay, Madhvi. Happy to meet everybody today.
A warm welcome on madhvisakti.co, Ashwani Khurana. And today we would love to know your story and your journey to being an entrepreneur, to an environmentalist, and a successful entrepreneur, in fact, to the President Karma Lakelands. So we would love to know all about your journey.
I think I need to put an
Sure.
Otherwise, the audio is compromised. Let's see. I think we have to sort out because I hope my audio is fine.
Very clearly. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, now it's fine, right?
Right. So first of all, a warm welcome to you on madhvisluxury.co. And we would love to know your story and your journey to being a successful entrepreneur, to being the president of Karma Lakelands and an environmentalist. So today we want to know all about your life and your journey, Mr. Ashwani Khurana.
I've had a very interesting beginning in my life. I was born to parents who migrated from Pakistan. I grew up in a resettlement colony for migrants, that is Lajpat Nagar, New Delhi. And the beginnings were very tough. We lived under asbestos sheets, 50 degrees in June every year. And interesting thing is, it used to get so hot. Afternoons, we slept under the bed to be protected from the fire that the ceiling was spewing. And from there to today, it has been quite a journey. The interesting thing was, I was coming from a family where nobody spoke English. The business of my father of lotteries was looked down upon by teachers and the peer group. And the browbeating that entailed because of this situation made the starting in life difficult. But interesting thing is how a couple of teachers would browbeat me as a raffle man, I would be called, because of the lottery business of the father. And the peer group started to make fun. So it kind of became like an abused childhood. And the interesting thing was, I grew up making a confident statement that I will be in the lottery business. I actually sold lotteries in a retail shop in Sadr Bazaar, Old Delhi, 1 rupee lottery ticket. And eventually, by the time I was 28, I was selling 5 crore lottery tickets a day. I was the country's highest tax-paying individual. Oh, what a journey. Yeah.
Wonderful. So it's been a really, must say, a very humble, modest and honest journey that you described to us. And also, I would like to tell the audience that Mr. Ashwani Khurana is one of the most passionate environmentalists of our times and believes in walking his talk. Already a successful and admired entrepreneur in India at the age of 28, he had the unique distinction of being the highest individual income taxpayer in the country. So, Mr. Ashwani Khurana, I would like to know, how does it feel to be so successful and reach at heights at such a young age?
It was providence. As I said, one thing that I need to share is I'm browbeaten as a child for my father's lottery business. It's looked down upon. And yet, there was not a moment in my life as a youngster that I deviated from my passion, my future life plans to be in that business. So So the lesson to share is whatever we do it with full passion, with full interest, because I believe life becomes beautiful if we do whatever we have to do with 100% involvement. And there's nothing small or big. How we deal with it decides whether you have to be small or big, and not per se what you do. There's a famous story of the priest and the prostitute, and the prostitute reaches the gates of heaven, and the priest is relegated to hell because they both lived down the same street, opposite homes, and every time the lady had a visitor, the priest was squirming and cursing, while she always thanked God, praised God for the pious neighborhood she lived in. And so that's my life story. I sold lotteries for a living. I was very proud of it. There were people who were extremely judgmental of what I did for a living. But then, whether I was a child getting resolute to do this business or I grew up to do it, I did it with such purity, such passion. And eventually, by the time I was 25, I met this wonderful person, Nick Chand Saini, the creator of the Rock Garden in Chandigarh.
Okay.
He helped me plant trees in a brick land that I had just bought in the outskirts of Delhi. Today it's the middle of Delhi, though. And Lakelands had become a friend because I used to do business in Chandigarh where the rock garden was. And he helped me plant the first trees in this very, very barren piece of land. And a few months later, when I saw these trees grow, I was blown. Like you see your child grow, This experience is, as parents, we've gone through it. This experience is overwhelming, mind blowing. So that was the experience I had and the relationship I began with seeing these trees grow. And then eventually I decided that between 1987, 10 years thereafter, these 10 years, I'm going to plant 100,000 trees. 10,000 trees a year I'm going to plant. And because I was in the news as the highest tax-paying guy, very young, college union people would come, can you sponsor our college festival? Schools, colleges, the local temple, priest, the local police station, whoever approached me, I said to them, look, my only calling is planting trees. And the passion started with seeing my own trees grow and feeling like, you see your children grow. The motivation, I said, came from Lakelands' association with me. And then I started to plant trees, and 4 years down to planting trees, I looked at the number, it was only 28,000. It should have been 40,000. Okay. And then I decided to, push the pedal. I started buying what I then used to call horizontal real estate. So lands in the suburbs, outside of Delhi, in Haryana. Eventually, today we have a 300-acre Lakelands eco resort. There's golf, there's eco-responsible practices as the main religion of the company and every individual that works here. And it's been quite a journey from Lajpat Nagar, 100 square yards house under asbestos sheets, sleeping under the wooden bed to escape the fire and fury of the summer heat, to this green, beautiful mini forest, a paradise. And this is what I do for a living today.
Yeah, awesome, wonderful. And I think a great credit goes to you for making Gurgaon and that especially Karma Lakeland so green and beautiful. It's like, go green completely. And in nature, it's a beautiful property I visited as well. And if you would like to give a message to the audience, especially the young entrepreneurs, any message you would like to give?
Okay, young entrepreneurs, friends, my life experience is this. It's been a very long time that I've done things not in pursuit of profit, but in pursuit of my passions. If your passions are your real pursuit, let profit be a byproduct of those passions and the purity of thought and action. And I'm not here to sermonize, but that's the path I have taken. I'll give you the examples that would validate what I'm saying. When I was in the lottery business and I was selling 2 crore lottery tickets a week, I happened to interact with an international lottery company, and we were planning a collaboration worldwide lottery businesses together. And those guys said, "Hey, you're selling 20 million lottery tickets every week, and that's a great number. Why don't you use the back of a lottery ticket as an advertising space and sell this ad to advertisers? You'd make some extra money." And I set up a marketing department. A marketing MBA was heading the department. We met amongst various people. Linta's advertising, Alec Padamsi was the CEO, and it was one of the largest ad agencies in the country.
Right.
And Lintas wanted to be the sole concessionaires for selling this ad space behind lottery tickets. More so because, there's certain products like cigarettes and alcohol that are not allowed to advertise the normal way. But unusual mediums like my lottery tickets, they could have used for advertising. And then interestingly, this way back in 1990, Lintas approached me that red and white cigarettes, this company wants to advertise their tobacco products with your lottery tickets. And they'll pay a whopping sum. But then I realized just a few months prior, we had declared all our offices and spaces as non-smoking. It was not customary at that time, either by law or by practice, to restrict cigarette smoking in private or public spaces. But I had already got that going for the last few months. And then, not for my bread and butter, but for my honey and jam, I had this offer to advertise cigarettes. And after a few days of thinking and soul searching, I realized for survival, for feeding your children, you need to do something. Honestly, even if you have to kill to feed your children, it's not immoral, I felt. But for honey and jam, for just more money, you should do what's your deeper calling. And my deeper calling at that was very clear, anti-smoking. So eventually, I had to shut down this department of selling ad space behind the lottery tickets. We decided we are going social advertising. And the first message of social advertising that these lotteries carried was anti-smoking. Then, if you remember, Babri Masjid was broken. We carried the national integration message saying, am I Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian first, or an Indian first? So these kind of messages we started to do in the back of lottery tickets.
Wonderful.
A few years of this kind of social advertising later, we were doing extremely well selling lotteries all over the country. And we did a little survey of what made us tick and how could we get better. The pursuit of growth is relentless for any business house by definition. And that was our case too. And we did this, initiated this survey. And the findings of the survey was something we not expected. The survey said there are two kinds of lottery products selling in the country today. One where state governments directly do the business, highly credible because the state government is directly doing. The other one where private enterprises like my company were doing. Here, the credibility was not as high as state lotteries directly managed were, but enterprise high. However, my lotteries, Sikkim state lotteries, were the only ones, because of social advertising at the back of every lottery ticket sold, was looked upon as more government managed as any other really government managed lotteries. So despite us being private, we were taken more government than the government. In terms of honestly, I was great.
But then also because of social initiatives that you were associated with.
That made us look like a real government product As I said,
Right.
both government and the government.
Right,
So,
absolutely.
highest on government style credibility, we were great on enterprise. Can you imagine, in 3 years' time, we moved from selling 2 crore lottery tickets a week to selling 5 crore lottery tickets a day.
My God,
And
amazing.
I was the country's highest tax-paying individual at the age of 28. And as I said, this was no business strategy to do social advertising. This was karma. And eventually, long time later, we realized, karma is far more powerful than a very suave business mind or being a great strategy. So the best strategy in life as in business is to do your karma right with full passion and involvement and let the flows, the results, the rewards come your way. And that's what I've done all my life.
Wonderful, beautiful. And is it the name of Karma Lakelands because you believe a lot in the karma? That's how the name, came, Karma Lakelands.
Yes, long ago I declared my religion is karma. So, eco-responsible practices is the other expression I've used for a very long time. That's my religion. So, that's how we have finally had the name karma in my current business. And we are a one project company.
How did the shift happen from being a hardcore person into the lottery business to being the environmentalist and the Karma Lakelands now? So we'd like to know about Karma Lakelands.
Yes. I was 21 when I got into this lottery business independently. I had partners much older than me. We were 5 partners. I was the youngest. And so that was 21 years of age I started. By 25, Nick Chanji comes in my orbit and he starts to help me plant trees in the lands I was buying. And then I'm starting to buy lands because I got to plant more trees. And eco passion started with this clear direction that I want to grow more trees. But as time went on, there were other practices, avoid plastic and composting of the green waste that the place generates. I myself live in an 8-acre farmhouse. We generate a lot of green waste. And so whether it's anti-plastic, anti-smoking, all these green initiatives happened with this one influence, Nick Chand of the Chandigarh Rock Garden. And as I said, starting with trees and other dimensions followed. And then the best thing is, I bought lots and lots of lands in the suburbs. Imagine, you're young, you're early to late 20s, and you've got a lot of money sitting with you. And logically speaking, it's supposed to hit your head. Ego has to get hyperinflated. And
it's tough to handle at a young age so much of money, at a young age, it's tough to handle.
And that's when this wise man, Nick Chand, comes into my life. And very humble, practical man, a celebrity in his own right, in a big way. And so I had a choice of proclaiming in the heart of the city that this commercial tower, this massive office building is mine, versus buying lands in the boondocks beyond city limits. So that's what I chose, because my passion was to grow trees. And if my passion was to make a statement that I've arrived in life, then I would be owning towers. Now, when I look back, the best of downtown property in these last 30 years, if it has grown in value 100 times, the suburbs have grown more than 1,000 times in value. And 90% of the money that I made in the last 30 years went investing into the suburbs, which have grown 10 times better in valuations and appreciation. And having really worked hard, just doing your karma right, I'm sitting today on $1 billion project. And So I'm not a great business strategist, but my karma has been right, I'm sure.
Beautiful, lovely. And a great message to the young entrepreneurs that they should follow their passion and put their heart and soul into it. And I think success follows. Also about karma, that we all look into our karmas and do good karmas. Eventually, good things will happen to us. And I would like to know, Ashwini ji, about the eco-responsible living. So if you can throw some light on, eco-responsible living, and that has become like fashionable today. So
yeah, interesting things. We are about 300 acres. Now, Gurgaon has expanded. We are no longer outside the city limits. We are Sector 80, Gurgaon, technically. When you get to our gates and you want the guard to respond, before you put your hand on your horn, you'll see a large sign that says the guard responds without horn. So that's how you get welcomed at the gates.
Right.
And by chance, because you've got compulsive habits of honking to attract the guard's attention, he's going to give you a little bit of a hard talk that you made a mistake. You should not have honked. Could you not see the board outside? So that's how you arrive into Khurana Lakelands. And once inside, you realize you're in a mini forest, and there's so many trees, and there's so much that you can see. There's bluebirds, nilgai, foxes, there's birds, bees, butterflies, bugs, there's jackals in the night to hear. And then, the other day, I was sitting in one of our gardens and just in the bushes, I heard some sparrow sound, I thought. I went in closer. I see about 100 sparrows because it was just sunset time. And there's like 100 sparrows settling down in their corners there. And you and I know we haven't seen sparrows in the city for a long time, isn't it?
Right.
I see so many sparrows. I simply start crying. My tears wouldn't stop flowing. And there's a great ecosystem this is. So far, I had just missed this out. And, as children, we were irritated because there were sparrows all over. And now, the feeling of bliss, just seeing something that's disappeared from cities and even town, was here at my little Khurana Lakelands mini forest. So there's a golf course. In the golf course, we don't allow people to smoke.
Right.
So, this is probably the only golf course in India that I know which enforces a non-smoking policy. Yes, to begin your game of golf and after 5 holes of having played, these 2 spots are designated smoking points. Other than, if you're on the golf course with a cigarette in hand, somebody will tell you, sir, you cannot smoke here. If you refuse to follow our rules, you can be turned out of this place without refund of your green fee. Now, we kind of rude when it comes to, enforcing our values, our beliefs, our green practices, rainwater harvesting of the entire 300 acres. The water goes into our lake system, gets stored there for future irrigation needs. We use recycled water. So I think pretty much you name it. And in terms of green practices, they are there. But then we still have a bit of a journey to go in terms of green buildings and all. We are getting better. Our kitchen waste from the restaurants, from the club, gets further segregated into what we call pranic kitchen waste and non-pranic. The non-pranic mean the leftover cooked food, the non-veg stuff and all, the onion, garlic peels, tea leaves. The other one goes straight to our farm animals' yard. Our cows and goats do magic. You give them plant pruning, your kitchen waste. In less than 24 hours, they'll turn it into compost.
Okay.
And our own sewage system is used to expedite decomposition of the biomass, which we generate about a ton of biomass every day. and we built 200,000 liters of sewage, which not only is generated, actually a fraction of it is generated within Karma Lakelands. We bring in a lot of recycled water from outside so that not a drop of water is wasted. We don't have to pour groundwater for irrigation, and the entire campus, lakhs of liters of irrigation needs are met through recycled water, through rainwater harvesting. So these are a couple of green initiatives that we have them going at Karma Lakelands.
Commendable initiatives, I must say. And George Bernard Shaw famously said that a responsible man adapts himself to the world. An unreasonable man persists in trying to get the world to adapt to him. Therefore, all progress depends upon the unreasonable man, Mr. Ashwani Khurana, as just that. When he wanted to make the golf course no smoking, everyone said it will not work. But he was unreasonable and decided to go about. Today, after many years, we see that he has succeeded. So you have been a very far-sighted, visionary man, I must say, and it has been, you've also been able to apply to the golf course, no smoking zone, no smoking allowed there. It's commendable. And I would like to know also about, Satguruji playing golf with you at the Karma Lakelands. So how has the experience of playing golf with Satguruji been for you?
I met Satguru some 15 years ago when I attended a particular yoga meditation program he was conducting at the Nimrana Fort here in Delhi, outside of Delhi. And then it turned out that he and I shared a common hobby, which was golfing. And then it's been magical, it's been mystical. He's been a very important part of me being the person that I am today in terms of, how I conduct adversities in my life. The yoga and meditations that I do, he had made a very casual comment in the passing long ago that if you keep doing these Kriya yogas practices regularly without expecting any results, after a while you realize you will have a pleasant interiority unrelated to your external life challenges. And, I've been through life's passions. Life spares nobody. It hasn't spared me either. But very few people come out unbroken. And just not golfing with Satguru, but the spiritual dimensions and Kriya Yoga part of what I got from him has been life-changing. And, I've seen close deaths. I lost 2 children 2 years ago in an accident. I spent a couple of weeks in jail. I've had tax raids. I've had all kinds of life situations. But believe you me, my head bows in gratitude when I think of my master and what techniques I've imbibed from him to not let my interiority get compromised. My pleasantness of interiority largely remains the same no matter whatever the hell happens to the external dimensions of me. And so golfing with Satguru has been fun too, but the other side has been bigger fun.
Amazing, and so much to learn from you. I mean, it's so profound, all that you are saying, and so deep, actually. So, also, as you know, Ashwani ji, that this program is about madhisluxury.co. I would like to know the definition of luxury according to you.
I don't fit into the conventional definition of luxury, and I live reasonably modest for what I could actually do in my life. And to me, luxury is being closely attached to nature. And I'll give you examples of luxury. There was a time that Karma Lakelands was attached to a very celebrated, supersized real estate development company. And they told me that, Karma Lakelands golf course needs to spell out, high class, the best, the latest of everything luxury in the truest sense, and we need to have night lighting of the entire golf course. And
Okay.
and they started to push me in that dimension towards a night golf course, floodlit, etc. To which I told them, I said, listen, God intended a few things to happen in the day and few other things to happen at night. I'm pretty sure God did not intend golf to happen at night. And I am not going to fight God's will by night lighting my golf course. That's one. Two, and very importantly, my religion is responsible practices, environmentally friendly initiatives. If I night light the outdoors in a massive way, as would happen if you go to a golf course, what will effectively happen is you mess around with the birds, the bees, the butterflies, the bugs that find shelter and lives in the green paradise of Karma Lakelands. You're going to kill them. And I am busy creating an ecosystem which is conducive to attracting them and not to
Right.
repelling them. So
True.
I let go of the conventional luxury feel of the golf course. I rather consider, I said, listen, anyways, I know of a golf course, a very prominent one in the NCR, which is night lit. And only one day of the week for 2-3 hours they run it on night light because the massive power cost does not get justified by the number of golf revenues they incrementally get running night golf. So,
Okay.
so I also told my partners, I said, look, some people learn from other people's mistakes. Some people learn by committing the mistakes themselves, and then some
True.
never learn. So, which category do you and I as partners want to fall under? So there's a golf course, night golf is not successful. You don't want to fight God's will. You want to flow with God's will. You want to respect the Creator's creation, perpetrate it rather than try to murder or harm it. And well, I drive fancy cars sometimes, but then Lexus car is 13 years old now. And the reason is that as a youngster, when I was sitting on new money, I remember there's a day in my life I bought 7 foreign cars.
Okay.
One day.
Okay.
And now, once in 5 to 10 years, I buy a car. So
Okay.
my definition of luxury with years and hormones shift, everything's changed. Probably, if I have more money, I go and buy another 20 acres of land and have another mini forest. By the way, very recently, 2.5 acres, we've just planted in Karma Lakelands a new bamboo forest from the northeast. We've brought in, 1,000 plus bamboo plants, and there's a bamboo forest that's about to take shape at Khurana Lakelands. So to me, luxury is growing trees, being close to nature, few more acres, not few more fancy cars. That's what I am.
Yeah, and I think like you bought 7 fancy cars at one point of time, so probably you've been there you've done that and seen that life also, and now you know that your main calling is towards nature, towards buying more land and converting it into a beautiful environmental friendly place. And Dr. Indu is saying that you're doing a great work in the environment, and for the future generation, it's very inspiring. So a lot of people are writing some comments and questions which I'm not able to see though. I would like to go for a rapid fire round with you, Mr. Ashwani Khurana.
Bring it
So
on.
what next? So what next do we expect from you?
I would continue to do what I'm doing. Nothing new, nothing out of the box
Expanding.
that I'm currently. I'll keep
So
expanding. I'll just horizontally expand from where I am, nothing new. This will just get more and more interesting. The hotel's going to get bigger, more rooms. It will still remain a horizontal, not a vertical hotel. More trees, more eco initiatives, a lot of fun.
Wonderful, great. And what is one thing that no one knows about you?
I'm an open book.
You actually, yes. And life on your terms and conditions.
Yeah. I don't bother that people might be judgmental. Whatever I am, you spend a few minutes with me, a few hours, especially on the golf course with me. You'll know it all. You'll know exactly how I made my money, when did I go to jail, how I had fun in jail, what I do at Lakelands. I'm an open book today.
To understand luck is going to nature is the buzz word for today's talk. Okay, great. Thank you. Ashwani ji, your strength.
My focus. I am so intense and focused. That's my strength. The other day, while I was golfing, it started to rain at Lakelands, and I just on the golf course. I'm the only one when it rains, a person who stays on the golf course, because I love to get drenched in the rain, and I'm the only one out when it rains on a golf course or anywhere else. So that day, I hit a pocket of land on my golf course where there were weeds. So for the next 1 hour, I was just plucking weeds. I thought I'm going to get enlightenment just plucking weeds. So my one strength is focus, intense focus.
Beautiful, lovely. And I think joy is in small things like being in the rain. That gives you some pleasure, some joy as well. So also about your weakness.
My weakness is while I run a business, there's crores of rupees of expense account checks that we have to issue every month. I just get too carried away in my poetic pursuit of green practices, and I forget that I have to pay the bills every month. So my children, my life partner Dicky, they all keep blasting me, saying, even if 10% of your mind space and your physical time went into looking at business, we would do so much better. Please bring your focus back, at least 10% to business. I'm not able to do that. But then, settling bills, expanding Lakelands venture is still happening somehow. I don't know how.
Lovely. And your strategy in crisis.
Keep your calm. I'll tell you, recently, the Haryana government, there's some negative bureaucrats everywhere. They started moving towards, stating that, your club building 100,000 square feet, we're going to demolish the massive swimming pool and one part of the building, and we've figured out how to corner you and stuff. And, this was scary, this was intimidating, and not a pleasant thought to live with. So I just internalized the situation. I told myself, I've put my blood and sweat and passion making this beautiful paradise, this great club building, which everybody who comes in says this is the best and most beautiful club we've seen around. And major parts could get demolished. So rather than getting fearful, insecure, and have my back to the wall, I just went through a mental visioning that if it did happen, while I've done my best to protect it and to make it, how will I deal with demolition? The answer was there that, with my picnic hamper and my garden furniture, I'll be sitting pretty close to the beautiful drama that bulldozers would unleash. And we'll have some nice time looking at what's happening. And so, there's this saying, if rape is inevitable, might as well enjoy it. If that was going to happen to me, I was prepared to enjoy it. So how I look at life, and especially the visits.
Yeah, so staying calm and just being positive, hoping something like that doesn't happen, and take it easy. That's the crux.
Calm is passive. Calm is still passive. I was ready to celebrate.
So, okay.
I would have had a picnic on the side. Hopefully, this day doesn't happen. It seems things are now getting right. That threat is over. But just sharing with interiority, the internal mind processing of this challenge that I was handling. And I believe that's my strength.
Tripta Garg is saying it's a beautiful place, and we were there on 14th August. Recently, I think they went for a weekend or something on 14th August. She just mentioned. And
14th August, we had a full house. All rooms were gone, and whoever could join us, 15th August is a ritual every year. Guests and us, we get together, we sing the national anthem together, we dress up in patriotic colored clothes, and it's an amazing celebration that we are citizens of an independent, of a free country. So 15th and 26th January are two very big days here at Lakelands.
How nice, and there's a personal touch, to the property. Since you involve yourself personally with the guests and all, so how nice is that? And a health tip you would like to tell, which is the health tip that you go by?
I'm sorry, I missed your question.
A health tip that you swear by.
Health tip: live responsibly. Wake up early, sleep early, eat responsibly. Especially these COVID times.
Right.
My master Satguru said it, and I followed it. Said scale ourselves up at least 10%. If you were doing yoga and you could bend up to your knees, can you now bend 2 inches extra beyond your knees? Anything you do, scale yourself up, especially the health things. Eat more responsibly, spend a little extra time in your pursuing your hobbies, your yoga, your meditation, your sadhana. That's what I do, and what I do is what I could comfortably preach my kids.
Really nice. And Tripta is again commenting that we really get a patriotic feeling when we come there on 15th August. I think that's what she's trying to say. And if you could describe yourself in one word, Mr. Ashwani Khurana.
Passionate.
Wow. Lovely. And you de-stress with?
Yoga and meditation.
Lovely.
If you give me one more word, permission, golfing.
Okay. And I believe you are also into salsa, because I have seen you and Dicky dancing very beautifully, salsa dance.
Indeed. We met on the dance floor in the dance class, and salsa was the form then. Now we've grown up, we've matured. Now we are tango dancers. And
Okay.
it's very romantic to do the tango dancing.
Wow.
Friends who are hearing, look at tango dancing. If you have committed partners or people ready to partner with to dance, that's so meditative.
Great, wonderful. And describe your 2020 in one word.
Great fun times.
True. And one relationship rule you always follow.
My favorite lines are: love of the self is the greatest romance on earth. So, self-love does not mean selfish love. And so I am very fierce in protecting my happiness.
So it's like love thyself, something like that.
Kind of. So.
And
if you don't love yourself, you've not discovered love yet. You cannot say, "Oh, I'm not loving myself. I'm living in pain and misery in a bad relationship, but I love my children." No, if you are in misery, you fix that damn problem and love yourself. Only then you would know what love is all about, and what to have is what you can give out to the world. If you don't have love of yourself, you don't know what love is all about, you cannot give anything called love to anybody else outside of you then.
True. I think you have to be happy to others can be happy only if you are happy. Basically, you need to be happy to give happiness to others.
Yes.
So,
so in Hindi we say, "Khushiyan baanto."
Yeah. So this gets me to another question. If I may ask you, how do you define love?
Two people, if we're talking love, then it's between people. But actually, love is when you are love yourself. If you love yourself, whoever you touch, you'll have loving relationships. It could be your partner, it could be your business associates, people who you negotiate with. If you love, you'll never be negotiating with them as if you're on opposite sides of the table. You'll be sitting together on the same side of the table and playing a win-win. So, if you understood love, it need not just be romantic love that you're talking about. It's love of the universe. You play win-win with everything. Like I love a tree. Why do I love a tree? Because that's half my lung. What I inhale is the exhalation of the tree, and what the tree exhales is my inhalation.
Soothing and calming.
Yeah. So once you understand that the entire planet is interrelated, and you are love, then that's what the planet gets back to you. And I think that's how
Beautifully expressed, I must say. Very, very well expressed, I must say. And for you, is it beaches or mountains? I doubt any of these two, but still. Your sound, actually, I can't hear you. The voice, you need to be switching on the audio. Can't hear you. There's no sound. I think you need to switch on the audio.
Okay. Are we good now?
Yeah, now.
Yes.
Now it's fine.
So you take me to the beach. I love the beach. You take me to the mountains. At that time, I love the mountains. But
Okay.
my joke with Dicky, my partner, is she always has a choice between the beach and the mountains, whether to see the scenery or to be the scenery.
Okay. Beautiful. And your favorite one-liner?
Sorry?
Yeah, your favorite one-liner? Yeah.
Love of the self is the greatest romance on earth.
Beautiful. Lovely. And I would like to get a message on COVID-19 from you for the audience.
Just be cautious, be responsible, eat well, drink well, think well, and don't be petrified if COVID happens. We'll smile through it. So that's my message. But then very important, if you eat, drink, live responsibly, your immunity is going to be strong. But if you are in stress, anger, your immunity is going to be compromised. Don't let that happen to yourself. Love yourself.
True. Wonderful. Awesome message, I must say. And thank you so much for being here on madhurisluxury.co. It's been a real pleasure hosting such a humble, honest, and person. And great to have you here with us on the show. Thank you.
Madhuri, thank you very much. Thank you, friends, for bearing with my rantings. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you. Thank Thanks everyone for being a great audience, and it's been an interesting and wonderful conversation with Mr. Ashwani Khurana, President Karma Lakelands, which is a beautiful property. I've personally been there and so close to Delhi, and you feel you've gone in nature and you can really have a great time and stay there since it's so close by and a drivable distance, especially around this time. And for all those who have missed the show, can watch it on my YouTube. The show is powered and supported by Padma Shri artists Krishna Kanhai ji, Aarti Zaveri, and K Jewels and more. I happen to be brand ambassador with Sari Sanskriti by Salma Sultan, Aisha Khanna, who's an international fashion designer. Nora USA is the brand, and I happen to be the brand ambassador as well as luxury consultant with her as well. Any queries related to any segment related to real estate, art, hospitality, destination weddings in Italy, fashion designers, jewelry designers, health, wellness, beauty, as well as finance, law, and chartered accountants, you can get in touch with madhysluxury.co. Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.